Hello! Today we're going to cover the German alphabet, very basic. There is a lot that we can say about it. I'm just going to give you an introduction. So the alphabet, of course, is that set of letters that we consider a complete set. These are all the letters, all the symbols that we use to record our language. We have something that we call the alphabet, and then we have a set of additional letters. But you will learn that. I do assume for this video that you know these letters, so that you have either already learned them or you speak a language that also uses those same set of letters. If you haven't learned them, this is probably not the place to start. Maybe there would have to be something more basic, but you can try and can see. In that case, I would definitely suggest you to watch the video. There is a video version of this. The video version is part of my A1.1 course. However, this video is available for free. So you can go to my homepage and you can look at that. It's a free video. It's right there. And it's part of the A1.1 course, and it's free for everyone who wants to look at my courses. So there's a few parts of this video, but we will get started and just go through the basic alphabet first. So when I say the alphabet, I'm saying the names of the letters. That's the first thing we're going to learn, and it's a good thing to learn them. It's going to give you a clue about the pronunciation, but of course there's much more to learn about the exact pronunciation of every letter and specialties, but we will start somewhere, okay? Good. So for the first step, I'm just going to say the alphabet from A to Z or Z in German, and you can just listen to it and try to figure out where we are, okay? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Excellent. So for the next step, I'm going to say each letter and I want you to repeat it. If you're listening on a podcast, I suggest you to just write up the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then you can just follow easier along. Okay, so repeat after me every one of those letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, cool. So these are the basic names of the letters of the alphabet itself. So now in German, we have a couple of additional letters, and these are actually 4, and now I want to go through them. So the first one is this, it looks like an A with 2 dots. So we call it either by the way, how you also pronounce it in most of the cases, or there's another way of saying this or referring to this. This is umlaut. Umlaut, laut is a sound. Umlaut would be a changed sound, I guess. So umlaut a or is how we refer to this. And is also the pronunciation of this. I'm going to give you examples for the pronunciation of every word here later on. Good. So this is umlaut a or the ä. The next one that looks like an O with two dots is either referred to as ö, which is also how we say it. It's ö. Or we call it umlaut o. Now, by the way, if you're having a hard time really saying or even hearing the difference between some of these, particularly the vowel sounds, don't worry. That's okay. That's normal. You will get used to it. German, for some reason, has a lot of vowels. So vowels are A, E, I, O, U, or more generally, all the sounds that you make where the flow of air is not being stopped or changed by lips and tongues. So, is a vowel, as opposed to, for example, p, there you stop the airflow with the lips. P. So these are called consonants. So in German, we have a lot of vowel sounds. So if you have a hard time in the beginning to differentiate them or hear the difference, don't worry. You will get used to it. You will get the hang of it eventually. Good. So the next letter, the next additional letter is an U, like the letter U, with two dots. And it's called U or U. And then there is a letter that looks like a little bit like a small B that is not, or actually like the letter B, but a little different, and it's not closed at the bottom at the left. And this is actually called, in Austria, we call it scharfes S, which would be a sharp S, or in Germany, they call it SZ. And it's pronounced like S. There is more to say about this letter. If you follow my podcast, I'm going to make an episode about this letter and what's up with it and why we have it. It does exist. Sometimes my students tell me that they get taught by their teachers that it doesn't exist. This is not true. This letter does exist. And it hasn't been abolished. It hasn't been gotten rid of. However, people in Switzerland and Luxembourg don't use it, by the way. So anyway, this is this letter. It only exists, or mainly exists, as a small letter, not like a capital. These are all capitals, actually. And the pronunciation, as I said, is S. Okay. And then here is a few combinations that are used a lot. These are not all combinations. So what's up with these combinations? Generally, we have at least one sound for each letter. Actually, German is a little bit easier in that respect than English, because English has, for many, many letters and many combinations, a lot of ways of possible pronunciations. German is not as complicated, meaning it's actually, once you figured out how these letters sound, easier to see a word and read it correctly. But there are a few things to learn, particularly when you're a beginner. So here is the first combination I want to tell you. So this S, C, and H in German, SCH, is pronounced sh, like Schule, school. Then the letter combination CH can have two slightly different ways of saying them. After an A or a U, it's pronounced so it's like a sound. In English, this sound doesn't really exist, but in Dutch, for example, we have it, and in the Arab countries we have it, and so on. So, for example, an example would be actually if you say ach is like oh, ah. And then the other way of saying this ch combination, ch, is sh, like ich. Maybe you've heard that. Ich means I. Okay, good. The next combination that is important are the letters E and I. And these are pronounced together as I. Like actually like an A, the letter A in German and E. So I. An example would be the word I, like an egg. I'm going to give you a little bit more examples later on. So then the combination of the letters I and E, I'm basically just giving it for a comparison, and so you don't mix it up with the other one. So first an I and then an E in English. In German pronounced E, like a long form of this, E. I'm just giving this to you as a comparison. It's used a lot. For example, in the article die. Then A and U, or in German au, is called au, or pronounced au, like das Auge, the eye. Then E and U is pronounced oi. Like, what did I put here as an example? Heute, today, heute. And then the letter S and P at the beginning of a word is pronounced like sp. Just in the beginning of a word, really. For example, spielen, that's to play. And similarly, S and T together is pronounced st, like Stern, that's a star. Der Stern is a star, like in the sky. Okay, so these are these special combinations. Okay, good. So let's go through the example words and the letters. So I'm going to say the letter. I'm going to just say the letter in German now. And then I'm going to say the example words, and I'm going to give you the translations. So the letter A, this one is called A, like in der Apfel, the apple. Der Apfel, der Arm. So repeat every one of these after me. So always repeat the letter and then the example words. So B, like der Bauch, that's the belly, der Bauch. Oder das Bein, that's the leg. I forgot to write that here. I'm going to fix it so when you download it, it's going to be there. Das Bein is the leg. So the letter C is in German called C. C. There are different combinations. Mostly this letter is part of combinations, like two of them you have here, like sh and ch. But when you have the letter by itself, it is very often pronounced like k, like der Computer, which is obviously a computer. Then the next letter is D, like die Decke, that's the ceiling. Or der Daumen, that's the thumb. E, like er. Oder die Ecke. Er means he and die Ecke means corner. The letter E is an interesting one. It has quite a different, quite a few variations of how it is pronounced. I'm also going to make an episode just on the letter E. And by the way, if you are in one of my courses, you will learn detailed the pronunciation and many examples for every one of those letters in a very fun way. We have pronunciation drills. They're very fun. My students like them a lot. Good. F. That's the next letter is F. That's pretty much like in English. Like in der Finger, which is a finger. Oder der Fuß, which is a foot. G. G. Like das Gesicht, the face. Or another example would be gut, which means good. Gut. Next letter is H. Die Hand. Die Hand. Der Hals. That's the neck. Die Hand is the hand, of course. So the letter H also has variations. This is pretty much how it's pronounced at the beginning of a word. Sometimes the letter H or H is silent and is not pronounced at all. You will see that a lot, or there it's also used in combinations. Then the next letter is I, like ich, I. Oder das Bild, the picture. Dann J oder J. There's two ways of how to refer to this letter. It's either called J oder J. It's up to you, it's your choice what you prefer. Examples would be Ja. That means yes. Ja. Oder der Juni. That's the June, the month, June. Juni. Next letter, K. Like der Körper. That's body. Oder. So the next letter is L. Like die Lampe. Lamp. The next letter is M. Der Mund. Like that's the mouth. Oder das Mobiltelefon. Mobile phone. Dann, by the way, we also say to the mobile phone, we say in German, we say Handy. Like with this one, with ha. Which is funny because it sounds English and it comes from English, but it doesn't mean the same thing in English. So next letter, letter N, die Nase. Der Nabel, so die Nase is the nose und der Nabel is the belly button. Letter O, like das Ohr, that's the ear. P, der Papierkorb, which is a wastebasket. Q, like der Quatsch. So the letter Q oder Que, again, you have two possibilities, is in German words, or actually even in words that we're taking from other languages, always written with a U, German U, following. So like this. And it's pretty much always pronounced Qw, Qw. Und der Quatsch means nonsense. Like, das ist Quatsch, that's nonsense. R, the letter R, is also one with a lot of variations, and therefore it deserves its own podcast episode. However, I'm just going to give you the main ways of saying it. Der Rücken. So that's probably the one that you realize the most. R, der Rücken. You don't have to say like r. Sometimes my students say that's hard for them, and I understand. For example, English doesn't have this at all. R. How you can practice, first of all, you don't have to say r. It's completely enough to say it like r, like once. The tongue is just moving once in the back. How you can practice this is you take a glass of water and you pretend that you've just finished brushing your teeth, and you go and you take the water and you go like this with the water. And then you do the same without water. I don't have a glass of water here to demonstrate it right now. I'm going to do that in the R podcast episode, but this should help you. This is the best way of doing it that I know. You just take water and you go, and then you can practice this. So another way, so der Rücken actually means the back. Another word would be das Regal. That's a shelf. And then I've put here in parentheses a few other ways, or actually one other important way of pronouncing this. And that is like a short ah. And there we don't say r at all. For example, die Tür. So here it's like an ah. Die Tür, of course, is not of course. Die Tür means door. Oder das Ohr. That's the ear. And again, here you don't pronounce the R at the end. You write it O-H-R, but you just say the R as a short ah. Ohr. And the last example that I have here is an ER at the end is exclusively pronounced like ah. Same thing. Das Fenster. That's the window. Das Fenster. Okay, so this is something I wanted to tell you. Sometimes, but you don't have to worry about this. This is very, very advanced. Sometimes people, particularly Austrians maybe, don't say this so much, even though you could. But anyway, just for you to know at this point in time, the two most important ways of pronouncing R are either R or like a short A. Good, next letter. Sessel. That's a chair, like an armchair. Like S. Letter is S. Not. So the next letter is S. Example is der Sessel. It's a chair. Next letter is T. Like die Tür. We already had die Tür for the R. Now we're having it for the T. The first letter of Tür, die Tür. That's the door. Und das Telefon. And I didn't write up the telephone here. I'm going to fix it. If you download it, it should be there. Dann der Kuli, that's a pen. Oder das Buch, that's a book. V is very often, not always, pronounced like F, like der Vorhang. Another way of saying this is like V, like Kurve. So these are the two main, or Vase, that's a vase. Dann W is pronounced like V. So V and V can be pronounced the same. So V can be F oder V, and this one is always V. Das Wörterbuch is a good example. That's a dictionary. Oder das Wort, which is a word. The next letter is X, like das Taxi. Oder, that's a cab, taxi. Oder extra, that means extra, something additional or different. So this letter we pronounce, or we call Y. Actually, we call it Y. That's the name of the letter. And there are different ways of pronouncing this. The most frequent one is probably like I. Pony, das Pony. That's a pony, a small horse. And then the last letter of the actual alphabet is Z. That's the last, like in English it's called Z or Z. Die Zunge oder die Zehe. Die Zunge is the tongue. Die Zehe is the toe. Or, depending on what your native language is, probably you would consider it to be the finger of a foot. It's a toe, die Zehe. Okay, good. So then let's do the additional letters. These are really pretty much just for German. Ä oder A, like in ähnlich, similar. Ö oder Umlaut O, like in Österreich. Like that's the word for Austria. Ü oder Umlaut U, like in die Tür, the door, die Tür. Oder die Übersetzung, that's a translation. Then das scharfe S oder SZ, der Fuß, the foot. Oder another important thing you will learn very fast, or maybe have learned already, is ich heiße. That means I'm called, and then you say your name. Ich heiße Susi. By the way, if you haven't heard it, I have made a podcast episode on introducing yourself, on saying things like greeting and introducing yourself. Or actually, it's 2 episodes. It's episode 9 and 10. I'm going to link to them. Then the next one or the last ones are the combinations that I've mentioned before already. So the first one being sh, like die Schulter. That's the shoulder. Notice in English we have the same sound. It's in English you just write it SH, and in German you write it SCH. It's the same sound. Dann ach, so CH after A or U. Der Bauch. Oder that's the belly. Oder das Buch. That's the book. Oder CH after I. That's ich. That's I in German. And I forgot that. I'm going to add that here. Oder das Licht. That's the light. Licht. Cht. Good. I. Like in das Bein. Oder das Ei. That is the leg or the egg. IE, like in die oder Liebe. Die means the, and that's an article. So, and it's a female article, so it's considered like to be a woman or like a woman. Die. Oder Liebe. That's love. Dann, we're almost there. Au. Das ist like das Auge. Oder das Haus. Das Auge being the eye. Das Haus being a house. Eu, like in heute. Or that's today. oder der Freund. That's a friend. Sp oder sp, like der Spiegel, the mirror, Spiegel. Oder spielen, to play. And st or st, we pronounce it st. Die Stirn, that's the forehead. Oder der Stuhl, that's the chair. All right, so that's that for episode number 1. It's actually a relatively long episode. Maybe I'm going to split it up. Okay, good. So basically, that's it for the second part of the episode. I'm going to split these up because these are just way too long. What I suggest to you next is to go back and practice saying with me the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on, until you can actually say them easily with me. And ideally, then also, really you can say them verbatim all by yourself. You can look at the letters, but you should be able to say them by yourself. So there is going to be a video about the alphabet where we're going to look specifically at all the different vowels and the different ways of pronouncing them. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more of the vowels and we're going to practice them. Okay, good. I'll see you soon. I'll hear you soon. I'll talk to you soon. And bye-bye.